to Totalis Rankium. This week, Semi-Final 2.
Hello, and welcome to Roman Emperors Totalis Rankium. I am Jamie.
And I am Rob, and here we are, doing all of the end stuff that we do after ranking all of the emperors from Augustus to Constantine 11. We're coming down to the wire.
Yeah, that wire's there.
Oh, look at it, look at it. Imagine you're on one of those cheese boards that has a cheese wire built into it.
Yeah.
And you're slowly being pushed towards it.
Oh,
That's what's happening to us right now.
It's getting towards the nose. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's semi-final 2. It is, some would say, the middle of the 3 semi-finals that we're doing. That's how you could describe it. And I'm going to be honest, don't know about you, Jamie, but last semi-final, I mean, it was interesting, but I think it was a little bit of a foregone conclusion.
I think, yes, it was.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew who was going to go through.
So did everyone else.
This one is not. This one, I genuinely don't know, and as writing up the notes, I kept going backwards and forwards. I know speculation on the internet. That makes it sound really big, doesn't it? Certainly in our Discord, has been going backwards and forth. Who is going to win this one? But only one person can win, so shall we introduce who is going up against who?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I was about to correct myself. And then I had a little word with myself in my head. It's like, you're not at work anymore. You don't need to correct grammar all the time. Just chill out. But no.
Yeah, only a disgusting pedant would do that.
You were on it. And you know what? I thank you, Jamie, keeping me honest.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay. People what are doing good are Basil II.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, sound guy. I interrupted you there.
God, shut. Basil II.
Basil II, yeah, there we go. We've got Basil II, the chief of the Macedonian dynasty, as he is sometimes known, or at least that's what I've just said. He is obviously, I don't even need to say it anymore, I've said it a lot. He is the person who has won in terms of points. He's already wearing that crown. Look at him right there. He's buffing it with his sleeve ears.
Oh, he is.
He is. It's all very impressive.
Licking
but
emeralds.
Who's this he's up against? It's Andronikos. Andronikos, the party, freewheeling, all sorts of fun if you ignore the persecutions, emperor, more prison breaks than the TV series Prison Break. I don't know if that's true. I've never seen that TV series, but I'm guessing...
There's probably only one.
I think there's one per series. I'm going to guess there were 7 series, so Andronikos didn't escape prison that many times, so I've lied. It's hyperbole, Jamie, though. That's what I'm going for.
That's okay. It's a Totalis Rankium way.
It is. So Andronikos, he came 8th overall with a score of 40.25, and you in particular were very excited when we recapped him. You got very excited by his stories of his prison breaks, his getting to know his wife during a prison break, his then sleeping with all of the Emperor Manuel's family just to annoy Manuel. It's good stuff. So there you go. You got Basil II and you got Andronikos, and I'll be honest, it's going to be tough to choose. And then the way these rounds work, the other two came second in their rounds, and I think it shows. I don't want to prejudge here. There's a chance for one of them. First of all, we've got Theophilos. Theophilos came 15th overall, so it's going to be tricky. 36.63 he scored. He was a good emperor. He was. In
a nutshell, yes. He was adequate.
He modelled himself on the great leaders of Baghdad in a time where Baghdad was going through their golden age. He rode through the streets, passing wise judgment on people. He wanted to be good. He was taught by John the Grammarian. He wanted to be good, and he was good. There was the whole iconoclasm thing, but he was all right. He was good.
Nah, he's not going to win it.
He's not going to win it. There's no way he can win in this round, which is a shame. But he's got to the semi-finals, and well done. However, the third person he's got more of a shot. It's Leo V. Now, Leo V is an interesting emperor. He did lots of interesting stuff. He is the godfather to Theophilos, which is interesting. We've got a close familial tie there. But the main reason why we're interested in this emperor, who came 18th overall with a score of 35.88, is his death. Because when you're standing on an altar swinging your cross, hacking at the assassins coming for you, and it's Christmas Eve and everyone else is singing hymns, and it's just the best death.
Could it be like there's a children's choir in the background?
Yes.
And when the guards walk in, suddenly they start doing the Fates song from Star Wars. Da-da, da-da-da,
Yes. Or
da-da.
the song from Final Fantasy VII,
I don't know that one.
One-Winged Angel. I think it's called. It's really operatic, and the main villain in it. This is going back from when I was in school. This is good old Final Fantasy VII. It's Sephiroth, and all the choir is just going Sephiroth. All the way down. It's just so ridiculous, and like real choirs have sung this, and you can see them doing and it's just a stupidly over the top piece of music.
Skyrim theme, that's impressive.
Quite possibly. You see, I don't know that one. Our computer game knowledge clearly does not cross over.
It doesn't, which is weird.
Zelda, we both know Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda.
Gerudo Valley.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't fit the theme, but it's a cool piece of music.
No.
We're getting sidetracked, Jamie. We
are.
Totalis Rankium, computer game theme
music.
tracks.
Yes.
Theme tracks?
Yes.
Soundtracks. Yeah, okay. Season 3 in the bag. There we go. So, anyways, I'd worry about putting people off, but I assume if anyone's got this far, they're going to stick with the last 3 episodes. We're probably fine. Right, okay,
Sorry,
so Leo 5 has a good, strong death. Is it enough to put him at the top of this group? Probably not, but if we put them in order, he might squeeze in a second, maybe? Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Could do.
Okay, so there we go.
It's only 4.
Yeah, it's only 4 in the semi-finals. It's only 4, and we
should pay
choose
attention.
one. Well, it's been a while since we recorded the last semi-final. Because I went to Montenegro and then got trapped there as my plane got cancelled and had to do intelligent speech from a hotel room with dodgy Wi-Fi. It was fun. It was good. So I'll forgive you for forgetting. But yes, it's only 4. We choose one and the winner goes through. So do you remember what the first round is in the semi-finals?
Death. Memento Mori.
No, it's the second round. I've put you on
Damn
the
it!
spot and I apologise. It's infamous, notorious. Sound guy, you hit it.
Infamous, notorious.
Okay, in this round, we look at 3 things.
Yes.
How much have they been remembered? How much actual impact did they have on the Empire? Good or bad? And are there any amazing details that we think they should be remembered for? So, first up, Basil II.
Basil II.
I'm going to be honest, Jamie. I sacked the focus group.
Did you?
They were,
What, you mean the people on the WhatsApp group?
Yeah. I mean, they don't know they've been sacked. They'd be deeply offended. They're our friends. But in my head,
Acquaintances.
I sacked them. And they don't know Roman history. They're going to say no. They didn't know Justinian the Great. They're not going to know these ones, are they?
No.
So, like any true researcher, what I did was I assumed results that I would get, and I've just followed that rather than actually doing the research.
Like the Tory party. Love it.
So are they remembered? It's just no from the focus group all round. It's just going to be a no, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty much.
So what I did is I did my own research. Are they remembered? And good old Google. Type their name in. Ignore all of the big sites like Wikipedia and Encyclopedia and just top history sites. So is Basil II remembered? Well, the first thing I came across is that in the computer game Civilization 6, the Byzantine Empire is available as an additional downloadable civilization.
Oh.
And guess who leads them? None other than Basil II.
Ah, cool.
So there you go. You can play as Basil II in Civilization 6. Did you ever play any of the Civilization games?
No, I remember seeing lots of adverts in like the early thousands.
Yeah, some people
thing.
absolutely love them, and it's kind of it seems like the kind of thing I'd love. Just like point and click, build up your city. I mean, it sounds really fun. It's just not one I've ever played. But yeah, you know me, Jamie. I'm not going to leave it there. This is a rabbit hole that I was more than willing to jump into. How good is this? Basil II being a civilization character. Well, maybe half the Roman emperors are civilization characters. So I went to all of the civilization games to find out which Roman emperors have been there. So, to begin with, Civilization 1, you could play as Julius Caesar. So there you
Not
go.
an emperor, so it doesn't count.
Non-emperor doesn't count, and also it's a logical choice, isn't it? Civilization 2, quite like this, they decided to have 2 rulers for each game, male and female. I like it. Bit more awareness of what was going on with the half of the population that never get talked about. So you got to be Caesar or Livia. Livia, wife of Augustus, way back in episode 1. Yeah, so there were your choices. Then, Civilization 3, you could choose between Caesar and Theodora. Interestingly, we go into the later Roman Empire. Some call them Byzantine. This is the wife of Justinian the Great, who some consider the first female emperor. I mean, as I said at the time, I just can't see it. She was the wife of an emperor, and yes, she was influential, she was important, I'm not downplaying that, but she did not rule in her own right, and no one saw her doing that. But she certainly is a very worthy person in Roman history to have in the game, and I applaud the decision. Caesar, Theodora. In Civilization 4, you get 3 choices. They abandon the women at this point, however. See if you can guess. Three Roman emperors. Oh, no, sorry. 1 Caesar, obviously. So 2 Roman emperors.
Andronicus? Leo?
You've got all of the Roman emperors to choose from. We're not just talking the Eastern.
Oh. Caligula. Nero. Trajan.
No. Augustus.
Oh, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. And Justinian the Great. Justinian I. Yeah, so there we go. That's who you could choose from. Civilization 5, only 2 again, and we get Augustus and Theodora. Caesar's been kicked off. But notice how the same names keep coming up. And then finally, we get Civilization 6, where there are 4 people to choose from. You got Caesar and Theodora, but then you got 2 brand new emperors, Trajan, and none other...
Trajan!
Yeah, none other than our Basil II. So there you go. There's not actually many people who have been a playable character in the Civilization games, and Basil II is one. So I'm sure when he was dying, thinking about all that he's achieved, he probably smiled to himself in that moment that happens to everyone when your life flashes before your eyes. But then it just keeps going into the future and you get to see everything in the future. I'm sure that happens. He probably smiled to himself when he realised that he'd be in Civilization 6.
His dream all along.
Yeah. So, there you go. He's also had a fictional novel written about him. You were incredibly unimpressed about Justinian II having a novel written about him, even though
I was annoyed.
I mean, I bought it and I showed it physically. Just, even though we're in an audio platform, I bought the physical copy to show you, just to prove to you that it existed, and you did not care.
No.
So, you know what? I didn't buy this one, mainly because it's in Greek.
That shouldn't stop you.
It shouldn't stop me. I struggled to find out about it. But apparently there was a fictional novel about him in Greek, which is nice. There was also some stuff I found out about his reputation in Bulgaria. Apparently it's not so good, being the Bulgar slayer that he is. Yeah, so there you go. There's that. And then finally, I typed in top 10 Byzantine emperors into Google, and I just looked at the first few. In the first list, he was 3rd place after Constantine I and Justinian I.
3rd place?
3rd place. I mean, obviously, Constantine for us comes in season 1, so he's not being counted. But they put Justinian above Basil, which I think is usual. I think we're more unusual here. The second list had him 3rd, this time behind Heraclius and Justinian. So generally he is a top 3, but he's never the winner, which is interesting. So there you go. That is how are they remembered on the internet. What about impact? Well, after ruling longer than any other emperor in all of the empire...
I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of bonus points doing that. It really helped him. So he ruled for a huge amount of time. He built up the empire. He created economic stability. It's hard to say he didn't have an impact. It could be argued that his rule extended the length of the empire significantly.
Yeah.
But that said, the Macedonian dynasty kind of falls off a messy cliff after him. It's not one of those nice straight down cliffs where you just fall and splat. It's one of those ones where you get hit, you sort of catch jagged rocks all the way down. Yeah. Yeah, I've not written this down. I'm going to have to do it off the top of my head. But Basil's rule, the length of his rule, if you then go that again after his rule, you go for a ridiculous amount of emperors. And it is all a mess. You've got all of Zoe and Theodora and all of the men that are being brought in to try and justify their reigns and all of that mess going on. So, yes, he brought stability, but it obviously didn't last. But equally, the Macedonian dynasty was by far the longest lasting dynasty. So, interesting facts. Like I just said, he's the top scorer in the season, and he's the top scorer in tempo completo. He's the only emperor to have Slayer in his name, putting him up there with the likes of Buffy, which is
I'm just thinking the same thing.
which is quite impressive, I think.
It is, because Buffy's a legend.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to think that Buffy and Basil would probably get on quite well. Buffy and Basil sounds like a fun duo.
That'd be great.
So Basil II, he's a titan of Season 2, definitely. How many points for Infamous Notorious?
It's out of 10.
Out of 10.
I couldn't go more than 3 or 4. I don't think.
You were so harsh in this round. You were doing this last time.
Yeah, but I've never heard of them. And you know, the
But
majority
again,
of you said,
right.
"Oh, have you heard of Basil II?" Like,
So again, so what I did very carefully this time is when I introduced the round,
Yeah.
I said it's split into 3 parts. How
Yes.
well are they remembered now is only 1/3, because the how much impact did they have is
And that's
another
1 point.
third.
that's the second point.
So that's a total of 3.3 recurring points in that part.
Yeah.
And then also, what about amazing details? The fact he's our top scorer should be automatically be giving him a good few points. The fact that he is the longest ruling emperor should automatically be giving him points. The fact he's got a cool nickname should automatically give points. He's scoring maximum points in that part, so instantly he's got 3.3 at least. And then you can add other parts, surely.
Okay, you've won me round. I would happily give him 6.
Okay, I'm quite pleased how quickly I managed to win you around there. Oh, that's good.
I'm very good. I'm very easily led.
That's good to know. I mean, I already know it. You kept saying, no, I don't want to do a podcast for quite some time, at least into year 4. So, yeah.
You just kept turning up.
I'm going high. I'm going 7, I think.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Basil II is one of the big names. Him, Heraclius, Justinian. They are the big names of the Eastern Roman Empire. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Total
going
of
for.
13.
Total of 13. Okay, next up, Andronicus. Now you've got a point to say they're not remembered at all.
Yeah.
Andronicus just isn't. However, that's not always been the case throughout history. Andronicus is definitely not the name of an emperor who springs to mind when you're talking about emperors.
Yeah.
No matter how much we think maybe he should be, because his story is amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. If you go back in time, though, then he definitely was remembered. After his death, his name was known throughout all of Europe as being a tyrant, an evil tyrant. In 1193, Peter of Eboli, I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sure, wrote an epic poem all about the Holy Roman Emperor Henry VI.
Right.
Now, it just so happens that Henry VI was ruling at the time that Andronicus dies. So we get some information. And the death, in fact, of Andronicus is mentioned. So, setting the scene in this epic poem here, wisdom personified is standing behind the throne of Henry, while a bedraggled fortune personified stands with the limbs of Andronicus scattered around.
Hammering that home, aren't they?
Yeah, epic poem. You need dismembered
Yeah.
limbs in an epic poem.
Yeah.
Wisdom then speaks to Fortune, and I quote, "May Andronicus be yours, soaked in the blood of his nephew." Remember Andronicus strangled his own nephew with a bowstring?
Yeah.
"To whom Italian blood was drink and food. May Andronicus be yours, crass man who added to the slaughter of his own family, the killing of excellent people of every lineage. At the end, although the punishment of his guilt was unparalleled, his disgraceful death forever lacks an avenger. Let that old man be yours, who snatched up like Icarus on wings, fell into the sea, and bewails his drowned body. He fell, as an immense succession of giants once did, who troubled themselves to visit Jupiter's empire." So, there you go.
Very dramatic.
That was an epic poem written all about Andronicus. Well, it's written about Henry, but it's got Andronicus in it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Epic poem. I'm not in an epic poem, are you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Do you do lots of going forth? Do you spake in your epic poem?
Oh,
I'm
spaking all the time.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did loins get girded?
Oh, you have no idea how many loins I've girded and had girded.
Good. Okay, well, I've not been an epic poem, so I'm impressed. What other impact did he have? He had an impact on Manuel, the emperor, because he kept going and sleeping with Manuel's family.
That's true. I mean, I'm sure Manuel has very strong memories of Andronicus.
Yes, definitely. But I'm going to be honest, it's very hard to say that Andronicus had much of an impact on the empire at all. You could argue that him killing his nephew meant ending the Komnenos dynasty, and the Komnenos dynasty was, as we've discovered, pretty damn good. So, yeah, it's Andronicus' fault that it all falls apart, sort of. Trouble is, his nephew was a mere boy, probably would have been cooed anyway, so... Is it really Andronicus' fault? Does he have any interesting facts? Any reasons why we should remember him? Well, it's just his stories of the multiple prison breaks. Him going behind the bush and pretending to have a poo, but getting a spear and a cloak and doing a runner.
Things like that are just brilliant.
He tied a granny to a battering ram.
Battering ram, yes.
Yes. Yeah, and he cut his way through, like Lord Flashheart, through the Middle East. Just sleeping his way through Jerusalem. And it's just a really fun story. And when you tell it, I mean, when I told you the story, your face lit up, and it was a pleasure to tell. So should he be remembered? Yes. He's not a nice man. He's not a good emperor.
No.
But he's fun to talk about.
He's very fun to talk about.
Yeah, he is.
He's very memorable as well. Like, I still remember some of those stories and still smile with giddy glee.
Yeah.
Great.
So, points?
Not as high.
It's not as high, I agree.
This time I think a 3 is probably appropriate.
Yeah, I think so. I think that he's not really well known at all, but the fact that he should be means that he should get a few points. I'm going to go 4 rather than 3, but fair enough. Right. 7.
7, yeah.
Theophilos.
Theophilos.
Is Theophilos remembered today? Obviously not. Of course he's not. But again, he was for some time, because, Andronicus had a poem written about him a few years after his death, but Theophilos, 300 years after his death, that's a significant amount of time, 300 years after his death, appears in a story, a written down story, from the Eastern Roman times, which is really exciting. This is called Timerian, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a satire. Right. It's all about a man called Timerian who lives in Constantinople. And he had just visited Thessalonica for a festival. And he goes there, and then he comes back home. He talks to a friend about why he was delayed. They have a bit of a celebration. And then that night he gets really ill, and he vomits up a whole lot of bile.
He would.
Yeah, just all sorts of bile. It's not pleasant. Anyway, he then falls unconscious, and then 2 demons come along, and they drag him to Hades. He is he is told that he has to live in the underworld because he lost all his bile.
You're in my gaff now. You lost your bile.
Yeah, now obviously...
That's the demons speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's how demons speak. Obviously, everyone has 4 vital elements that make up themselves. That is yellow bile, black bile, blood, and phlegm. There's nothing else in your body you need. So it's all good. As long as you've got a good balance for 4, you're going to be healthy. But he's thrown up all his bile. I didn't check to think which one. I'm guessing yellow? No, that's pus, isn't it? Maybe black.
Well, because when you
yeah,
it's like yellowy when it comes out.
Yeah,
so
no, it is. Okay, it's one of the biles. Anyway, it's gone. So he's down in the underworld. Anyway, he goes on several adventures. He does. All sorts of japes happen. It's a comedy that is no longer funny due to time. It satires events that no longer is understood. But yeah, well, I say is no longer understood. I certainly didn't. I'm sure academics do. Anyway, he's in the underworld until he meets his old teacher, who agrees to argue his case that he should go back to the world. So his teacher basically goes to a court to say, no, Timerian should go back. But who are the judges? Well, it's a whole host of people, or gods, in fact. It's a whole bunch of pagan gods. So the old Jupiter and people like that. Oh yeah. Your old pagan gods are the judges. Saturn. Yeah, probably.
Uranus. Getting judged by Uranus.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, tables have turned. I mean, how often do you judge your Uranus? So
that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, some pagan gods are there, but also a whole bunch of ancient doctors from back in the ancient times. Your wise old Greek people.
Yeah.
And, sticking out a little bit like a sore thumb, but for a good reason, none other than Theophilos. Theophilos, who has a reputation for being a just judge. Because remember, he was emulating himself on being a good judge. He used to ride around, he used to try and actually rule his city and make it better, remember? And that reputation stuck. He was so just that he punished the people who killed his godfather that his own father had ordered to do. So, I mean, this story seems all very ancient to us, but just to remind you, this was 300 years after he had died. So it's a bit like someone writing a story about someone who was alive when George Washington was around.
Yeah, so slightly out of context.
Yeah, so it's still a long time ago. They were writing stories about him. So he was remembered. Did he have an impact on the empire? It's hard to say he had a big impact, to be honest. I mean, he was all right. He was a decent emperor. He tried hard. If you lived in there under him, you'd probably have been fairly happy. But long term, not great. And then we've got his iconoclasm, and that caused problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, iconoclasm does cause an impact, but eventually it is defeated. So in the end, not huge. So, interesting facts. I'll be honest, I didn't really find anything. I did a bit of looking around for interesting facts. I mean, stuff we liked about him was him being taught by John the Grammarian. We liked the fact that he was trying. But when you are searching Theophilos, interesting facts, his name means to love God. So, as you can imagine, a lot of religious stuff just comes up of people who were called Theophilos, and it's hard to find the actual emperor.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, he had his really cool last line where he executed his friend and advisor Theophobus because he didn't trust him, and he had his cool line, which I will talk about in the next round. So, score?
3. I can't give many more than last one.
I'm not even going to give him that. I'm going to give him 2. Actually, no, he got a story written about him. I'll go 3 as well.
6.
Leo 5. So, Basil, he's in a civilization game. Someone's written a novel about him. He's on top 10 lists. Andronikos, he had an epic poem where he was a character. Theophilos, he was in a story. Leo 5, nothing. Couldn't find a thing.
Oh.
Nothing at
Right.
all. No. Apart from his Wikipedia entry and the usual encyclopedia places, history websites that you'd expect, just couldn't find anything. I did manage to find him on a list of unusual deaths of Byzantine emperors, because I thought that might be a strong point, but actually there were 13 on that list, and he wasn't ranked number 1, which was ridiculous. So that's not great. Impact.
No.
And it's hard to say he had really any impact. I mean, he clearly had an impact on his godson, Theophilos. Iconoclasm carried on through Theophilos, which Leo V was happy about. But the Amorian dynasty that followed him was short-lived, and the Macedonian dynasty came in and it just is no huge lasting impact from him. Interesting facts, he's got our favourite death. Yeah, that's what we remember him for. So perhaps the next round is where we should go into that. So what should we score him?
0, because there's literally nothing.
It's got to be 0. It's such a shame. Oh no, I'm going to give him 1 just because he's got our favourite death, because that should be recognised. It's the next round, but it is also an interesting fact.
But it's not recognised, and he isn't known for it.
A good death wouldn't be counted. Best death is interesting as a statistic, not the actual death. I'm giving him a bonus point for it. No?
I disagree, but I will write it down.
Fair enough.
I'll give you your 1.
So we have a clear winner. Basil II, which I believe he got 13.
He did, indeed.
Andronikos with 7. Theophilos with a mere 6. And Leo 5 with only 1.
Yeah, your 1. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see how they do in the next round. Okay. How good was their death? No need to delay. Let's do Basil II. Well, it's not good. It's not good. He lived an incredibly long time, and when he died of natural causes at the age of 67, probably surrounded by loving family. The idiot.
What a loser.
Ugh. Yeah, no mention of foul play whatsoever. He just
come on.
dies.
Not even a curse.
He just went as gently as he could into that good night.
Like a feather drifting off into a setting sun.
Yeah, with a vague smile on his face. Yeah. And just as he was about to die, his eyes snap open, one last gasp, and he says, "It's not that bad." And then he dies.
Oh.
That's how peaceful it was. The idiot, 0. He gets nothing. Rubbish.
No. I think we're just probably just a bit jealous, though.
Yeah, and also, by the way, we don't know that. Maybe he got some hideous disease and he died. The details are very sketchy. We just know that it was natural causes. He probably had some horrible wasting the seas that we just don't know about. But he's getting no points, so there we go.
Yeah, screw him.
Andronikos. This is more like it. And perhaps, I'll be honest, I did not go into enough detail of the death of Andronikos in his episode, because it was a long episode and we needed to get to the end. But wow, is his death gruesome.
Hey.
Arguably one of the worst deaths in all of our podcast. Because he is, to begin with, ridden through the city on a donkey backwards as he is stoned.
It's just all come flooding back.
Starting to remember this.
Yes.
He is then tied to a post where people are allowed to just go up and beat him for 3 days.
He wouldn't get any sleep.
He would not get any sleep. And if he does, they're waking him up early. His teeth were pulled out. His hair was pulled out. His right hand was cut off. One of his eyes was gouged out. This is just the public just picking at him. Then after 3 solid days, 3 days, Jamie, 72 hours of torture of just the public beating him, chopping bits off of him. They throw boiling water in his face.
Oh, into his eye socket.
In
pool.
They then, it's time for the public execution, so they drag him to the hippodrome and they tie him up. They tie him up by 2 posts upside down, 1 leg on each post. You're looking shocked.
I'm just trying to envision what this could be.
Well then, 2 soldiers then have a competition with swords, and it's hard to figure out exactly what's going on there, but it's something along the lines of how well they can cut him. It's either death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing, or they're just trying to skewer him through his body. But they're doing nasty things with swords, and they chop him to pieces. And the fact that he's hanging upside down by 2 legs, one pole and another pole, you kind of get the idea of where they're hitting with that sword. Yeah. It's a very gruesome death. It's one of the worst we ever come across.
I don't think he deserved it. That's a bit too much.
It's a bit much, but I remind you of the execution he ordered not long before this, was when he burnt someone alive without tying them up first. So they kept just poking him back in the fire whenever the person was escaping.
Is that a worse death? Well, no, you'd pass out fairly quickly.
Well, no, because you can get out the fire. And every time you get out the fire, you're jabbed with a spear. So you fall back in the fire bleeding. And then you come out the fire. And then you... Yeah,
but you go unconscious eventually.
That one has stuck with me a lot. So, I mean, Andronikos was a nasty, nasty man. He's not
great.
He's got lots of fun stories, and then he becomes emperor, and then he becomes hideous. Absolutely awful. But yeah, this was an awful death. But the last thing that went through his mind,
apart from the sword,
was how much points he was going to get in this round. So, I mean, is it a full 10? He's, like, brutally tortured to death by the public and then executed publicly.
I don't think... I think there's... even for us, I think it's a line.
Yeah,
because that's a cruel death, not a heroic death. The 10 is going to be for Leo.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying this, because this is exactly the argument I was going to make. It is a death that's worthy of points, but it's not a full mark death. It's interesting. Leo 5 is a 10. Hang on. We've not got to Leo 5 yet. Leo 5 could be a 10.
Could be, yes.
But this isn't a 10. This is... It's high, though. I'm going to go 7.
I will match the 7. I agree with that.
Okay. Theophilos. He dies of some kind of illness. I don't know.
Okay. 0.
No.
Oh.
But he will get some points, because don't forget he has his really cool last line where he orders the death of Theophobus and says, "I am no longer Theophilus and you are no longer Theophobus." There's just something very cool about that. Unless you're Theophobus.
Great last line. Oh, wait.
Hang on. Oh, that's me, isn't it? So, it's not great, but he had a cool last line. I'll throw him a couple of points for his cool last line.
Yeah, right. Let's give him 4 then, in total.
Yeah, 4 in total then. Okay, next up.
Leo 5.
It was a very cold night in the chapel that night. Most people were wearing long hoods, vanity hats. The singing was glorious and filled everyone's hearts with joy. Leo had a large voice. It filled the room. He was enjoying himself. But what's this? What's this, Jamie? What can you see?
Is it the door opening in the background?
It's the door. It's creaking open. No one can hear the creak, Jamie, because everyone's singing.
Not over the singing.
Not over the singing. And then you see just the points of swords coming through the door before you see anyone. And then just people dressed entirely in black.
Oh.
Cut to Leo. He's still singing. He's still singing about mistletoe. He's Rudolph. He's singing about...
Do you think he has one of those Santa hats with like a glowy bulb?
Yes, that's
all at the
what
end
he's
that like
got.
flashes with LEDs and stuff.
Yeah.
Really getting into the spirit.
Away in a manger. Cut to...
No creep for a bit.
Cut to all the swords just making their way. Everyone's shocked. Gasps! Gasps from the left, gasps from the right. They're all leaving. They're filing out. Leo's not noticed.
Away in a... Then he realises he's on his own singing.
Yeah. Wait, no, he doesn't realise. He's just singing
he doesn't
away.
realise.
Because he's singing so much. And then you just see the sword run through the back of the cloak of Leo. Blood spurts everywhere. The man falls to the ground dead. And then cut to Leo's face, because Leo's not the person they stabbed. You may have forgotten this part. They stabbed the wrong person first.
Oh!
Because someone else was wearing the same cloak as Leo. The same big hat.
Yes.
Leo swings round. Ha! You villains, you scoundrels! And he leaps like something that leaps at Christmas time. What leaps at Christmas time?
Lord's sleeping.
Lords! He leaps like a lord onto the altar, and he grabs the first thing he can find. He wrenches a cross off the wall, swings round. Back, you devils! He cries. We may be embellishing some of this, but the fact is we know that the assassins go in, they kill the wrong person, he runs to the front, he grabs a cross, he hits some assassins with the cross. One thing we do know, and we're not making this up, is when Leo swears an oath to God and begs someone to spare him, and one of the assassins replies, "This is not a time for swearing oaths, but for killing."
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. And then Leo swings the cross to kill the guy, but the guy chops his arm off. Leo falls to his knees, and they run him through with a sword. He falls. The camera pans upwards, facing down, and you just see the blood seeping out of him until it just starts hitting some of the tinsel that's been left on the floor in all the ruckus. It's a 10.
Oh. Yeah,
it's a 10. It's the best death. It is just the best death.
Glorious.
Absolutely glorious.
As glorious as death could be.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've obviously got a winner this round. It's Leo 5. Well done. Andronikos comes in second with a gruesome death. 14, I believe he got. Theophilos got 4, and nothing for Basil. You, I hope, have been taking a note of these scores, though, and can now tell us who is winning overall.
Oh, yes. We have a tie.
Oh, okay. What we got?
Theophilos is 10. Basil has a total of 13 currently, but Andronikos and Leo 5 both have 21.
So Leo 5 is beating Basil?
Yeah.
Wow.
Andronikos and Leo 5 are neck and neck.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. And that's all the points we give out, because our next round we don't give points. So that's something to think about when we decide who goes through.
Possibly.
Interesting. But our next round, our final round.
Historical ridiculous.
And here we go, our final round. It's the questions everyone is asking. Questions from our Discord. This week, we are going to go with a question from Sparishon. And Jamie doesn't know this one's coming. I'm just going to read it out. Which emperor, out of the 4 we've covered, obviously, would be the best Star Trek captain? And why?
So, Basil II's Picard. Andronikos he's not quite Kirk. We're getting there. Theophilos is just stable and normal. So Theophilos is more like a Janeway or an Archer. Leo 5, kind of so he's more Kirk-like, I think, like fighting the Gorn with his because Kirk obviously was fighting off Gorns with his big crucifix in a church.
These are words that make sense to me.
So I think they all have elements. I think Basil II got the stately, calm nature of Captain Jean-Luc Picard,
but also
that's
will not hesitate to kill so many people of one group that he becomes known as the Slayer.
Or maybe she should be Janeway then, because she kills lots of people.
Yeah, you see.
Or Cisco, or maybe Cisco. Oh, yeah, she could be a Benjamin Cisco. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay. They're my answers. You can take one of them. You can take all of them. They're my opinions. Let us know in the comments.
Well, interestingly, I mean, you actually answered a different question, but I didn't want to interrupt you because that was a really interesting way to answer it. It was not who would be which captain. It would be
I know.
Who would make the best. So you still need to answer that. Who would make the best?
Well, Basil kept the Empire stable for longest.
So you're going for Basil.
Yeah.
So Basil would be the best Star Trek captain. But, I mean, if that meant anything to me, I'm sure that was quite interesting that you chose certain ones for certain people. Yeah. Cool. Okay, then. Right. Okay, let's go for another one. I'm going to go for Elspeth. Elspeth, who was our moderator at Intelligent Speech. Thank you very much to her for helping us through that. She has asked, what would each emperor's walk-on song be? She says she's convinced Nero would have Drama Queen by Meghan Trainor. So
I think Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Quite possibly. But out of these four, what songs are they going to have?
See, Andronikos needs like a strut song. He needs like a Bee Gees.
I was about to say, yeah, it's the opening of Saturday Night Fever, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how Andronikos walked in to Antioch and then Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Holding his paint pot, wearing his white trousers. Harassing women on the street. Oh, times were awful back then. Yeah, okay, so, yeah. Andronikos, Bee Gees. Basil's just got to have the Buffy the Vampire Slayer theme music, surely.
Oh, well, that goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's what he was humming to himself as he was gouging the eyes out of all of those Bulgar prisoners.
You saw they were vampires. Maybe that was
Maybe that's it. How did we do his whole episode without... It's because I didn't tell you his nickname until the very end for some weird reason.
Bulgar Slayer.
Yeah, totally should have done. Theophilos.
Satisfaction.
I'm thinking Simon and Garfunkel. I think something quite mellow.
Yeah, Nice and White Satin by Moody Blues.
Okay. Yeah.
Some 70s and chilled.
Leo 5 needs a Christmas song. Not sure which one. If I remember correctly...
I still think Duel of the Fates by and Star Wars.
Oh, but no, what's the really overly dramatic Christmas song that's in
Home Alone? Carol of the Bells. Yeah, it's Carol.
Yeah, that one.
Of the Bells or something?
Yeah, it's clearly a piece of horror music. Yes. And yeah, that was his theme music all through his life. No one knew why until he finally died.
And he's just laying there just being stabbed. He just slows down to one person singing. There's one choir boy that stayed behind.
And it's just Macaulay Culkin. Cool. Okay, I think we answered that one well. Right, I think we've got time for just one more. So let's go for... Hamilton Fillmore asks, which emperor would be who? So you kind of did this for Star Trek already. In Blackadder.
Well, Andronikos is Lord Flashheart.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that one's done, dusted, easy. I think Basil II's going to have to be Blackadder. He's the competent one who is getting exasperated by everyone else.
I think Theophilos could be Captain Darling.
Yes, and then obviously Leo 5 is...
Melchett.
but not Lord Malchit from season 2.
General Malchit.
Is he General? General Malchit? Yeah. Stephen Fry. Yeah, no, all of those work. I think that works quite well. And that means all of them can be in season 4 Blackadder, because all of those characters appear in season 4. Yeah.
That's a good point,
So season 4 Blackadder, Basil II is Blackadder, Andronikos is Lord Flashheart, Theophilos is Darling. Leo 5 is
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think we compared Andronikos to Lord Flashheart in his episode. I can't remember us doing that, and I don't know why we didn't.
You definitely mentioned it in this episode earlier.
Oh yeah, we've mentioned it before, but I don't think we did it in the episode, but it's such an obvious choice. Okay, right, well, there we go. I mean, there's no points for this. That's just helping us think. And now we have a decision. And, well, let's not pretend Theophilos is going through. He's not going through. He got to the semi-finals. He should be very proud of himself. But
it'd be cruel to give him a false sense of hope.
Exactly. So let's just swiftly put one in the back of the head. And he won't know any different.
Just come out back with me, Theophilos. It's fine. Can you just help me pick up that thing on the floor there? Cock your gun.
He won't even know. He won't even know. It's fine.
No. He won't even hear the shot.
No, exactly.
He won't even see his own brains spat in front of his eyes.
Exactly. Okay, but the other three, we have a conversation. And I genuinely don't know where we're going with it. Let's start easy. But I don't want to lead you.
I think the only thing Leo 5 is known for is his death.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it first just in case I was leading you. I completely agree. Leo 5... I
mean, you were mouthing over the camera at me, but...
Holding up pictures. Cue cards for you to read.
Leo 5, big cross.
No, I completely agree. Leo 5 has a brilliant death. I enjoy talking about that, but the rest of his reign is not completely forgettable. He did lots of interesting stuff. You've got all his friendship, and you've got pole up a cave up a pole, even. There's good stuff going on there, but I agree. He can't go through when he's up against Basil II and Andronikos. This is what I thought it was going to come to. It's Basil II and Andronikos, and I'm struggling. I know it's almost like a heart and head thing.
Yes. I know exactly what you're saying, yeah.
My head is saying Basil II. He is the top scorer of not just Season 2, but all of Totalis Rankium Roman Emperors.
Yes.
He did a lot of good for the Empire, so he was a good emperor. He was very impressive militarily.
Yes.
He makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But the heart, Jamie, the heart. The heart is saying, why not put through a vicious, murdering...
I mean, you could argue they're all vicious, murdering...
I mean, Basil II did gouge the eyes out of thousands of people, so yes, this is true. The stories of the prison breaks, especially, may I remind you, he clawed his way out through a tile, went into another part of the prison. His wife was imprisoned in his own cell. He came back into that prison because he couldn't find a way out, got to know his wife for a bit, and then left again. He paused halfway through his prison break to make sweet, sweet love with his wife.
Well, at least it wasn't when they were, abseiling down the side of the wall. That would have been even more impressive, but...
stories like that. Man. I mean, what are we? We're not top 10 emperors. We're Totalis Rankium, damn it, and we're here talking about who are you going to talk about. I think I've decided. I think the problem with Basil II is that he's not interesting enough. He is technically good, but he's not exciting. So I think I know who I'm going to throw my weight behind, but you're pulling a face, so you might be about to argue with me. Potentially.
I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just planning ahead too much as well, because what's the final going to be? Will Andronikos not even have a look in the final, in which case that'd be unfair for him? And is it fair for someone that's ranked so highly not to be in the final? That's just what I'm thinking.
I mean...
They're just questions.
You make a good point. Basil II is ranked first. Surely he should be in the final. But then why aren't we just rating it on their points?
That's a good point.
Who are you more likely to talk about?
That is a Totalis Rankium thing. The guy that chiselled away a glory hole with his bare fingers through a tile in a prison.
Yeah, and this was...
Basil II, who played marbles with Bulgarians' eyeballs.
He strapped a granny to a battering ram.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
And the very fact that you can keep forgetting about that because so much other stuff happened, I think is very impressive.
And now, of course, got seared into my brain about the poking the guy back into the fire with sticks.
Oh, yeah, because then he did awful stuff. And his death is truly horrific, so you've got a story there.
I know what you want, and you have swayed me.
I've swayed you?
Because, well, we've always said since the beginning, it's about who are you going to tell people about, what's more interesting in history. Andronikos is more interesting.
See, what I find interesting is that this episode went differently to how I thought it would.
Yeah, me too.
Because I genuinely was not sure between these two. And I found myself talking myself into Andronikos. I thought you were going to come out all guns blazing for Andronikos, and I was going to have to be the voice of reason, not the other way around. But yeah, no, Andronikos is more fun to talk about. It's more exciting.
Yeah, he is.
His stories are better. Basil II is deservedly number one, but also I keep going back to the fact that I keep looking at his total score going, I don't understand why his score's so high. Have we done something wrong? And every time I think about it and look into it, I go, no, he deserves that score. But the very fact that I question it says that maybe his Je ne sais quoi is not as high as other people's. So yeah, I'm happy. I think Andronikos goes through.
Yep, let's do it.
I wonder how many people we've upset by knocking Basil II out.
I mean, I named my dog after Basil II. That's not true.
That's not true, but it could be. No one could prove otherwise.
Well, my next dog will be Basil II, so...
No, your next dog will be called Andronikos.
That's just rampant dog in the park. Come in, get off.
Well, there we go then. Andronikos goes through, and wow, do we have a final shaping up, because at the moment we've got Justinian II, the crazy revenge murderer, and Andronikos, the crazy Lord Flashheart murderer. This is a very different final than Season 1's final.
Yeah.
We have not got Justinian or Basil II. Two firm favourites have been knocked out in the semi-finals. No, hang on. I'm remembering that wrong. Sorry, I'm thinking Justinian 1 and Justinian 2, they were together in the rounds. I have forgotten who was in the semi-finals, haven't I? Who was...
Justinian 2.
Yes, no, sorry. I remember now. Of course, Justinian... I say I remember now. I've just suddenly looked. Justinian 2 defeated Romanos, Leo 3 and Alexios 1. That was it. Alexios 1 was the big hitter that Justinian 2 knocked out. That's what I was thinking of. And Romanos 1 was good as well. So anyway, next time, we've got a tricky one. It's arguably the hardest of the semi-finals next time, because we have Heraclius, our number 2. We have Basil 1... He's got a great story. We've got Anastasius, the old man who impresses us so much, and we have Justinian the Great. I mean, arguably, all 4 of those could go through. That's going to be the toughest semi-final. Again, I do not know who could win that. But we will find out next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you for listening again.
Yep, 2 more episodes, Jamie, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh, no. No. Oh, I did on... Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. I did put it'd be nice for us to do a Q&A. Oh, that sounds really grandiose and like, hey, ask us. But it'd be nice, people have sent some nice, funny, interesting questions that we could do a mini episode on as well.
Yeah, we did that at the end of the first season, if you remember.
We did, yeah.
We did, so it makes sense to do it at the end of this. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, I'm liking this. That's good.
Yeah. So I didn't ask you, I just did it.
That's fine.
We've got a massive load of questions.
Cool. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so at least 3 more episodes, and I believe we will be having a...
Do we need an ultimate between the final winner of this round and season 1?
I was about to say, we're going to have at least one ultimate episode at the end, and then there's a couple of special things I think I will come up with to do right at the end. Maybe a couple of interviews, maybe something to do with Jeff. Who knows?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a teaser there. So, yeah, we will find out. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. And until next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Welcome to the BBC's coverage of giant races. Hello, and welcome to the BBC. My name is Chad.
And I'm Hickory.
Before we start this broadcast, we just need to read an apology written for us by the BBC.
We regret the decisions we made last week.
Last week, we were wrong, and we let you down.
It has come to our attention we may have embellished certain parts of the race.
There was no lightning bolt.
The lasers, they didn't happen.
And there were definitely no sharks.
The boss is alive. I'm sorry, Bruce. You're still alive.
And because of the poor choices that we've made, we've ensured the BBC that we'll be following their guidelines and using the correct terminology and representing the race as it actually is.
On behalf of both of us, we apologize. You, the listener, deserve more, and we will think about our actions.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's go into the race. It's very exciting.
Chad, we gotta calm it down, Chad. Remember the meeting? The 6-hour meeting, Chad?
So many notes. So many slides on the PowerPoint.
They read off the PowerPoint, Chad. I can't do that again.
Times New Roman as well. Times New Roman.
Comic Sans on some.
And we're here today to tell you about the race that is going to happen in the next 3 minutes.
Okay, right. So it says here in the BBFC guidelines that we've got to introduce each of the people and accurately describe what they look like. So this is hard, Chad. You go first.
Well, first in lane number 1, which is closest to the stand, is Basil II. He is not an herb. He is a human being on a horse.
Chad.
Yeah?
We gotta say Basil.
Basil.
Basil is a
Wait,
human.
what's that? Wait.
What, Chad? What's happening? Tell me.
It says the second. What's the second what?
Oh, I thought you'd seen something exciting.
Basil the second.
You're just reading the guidelines. Okay, Basil II is a human
No,
with...
the second.
The second is a human with a head and 2 arms. Chad, anything else you want to add?
His horse has 4 legs. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 legs and a tail.
Okay, next up we got Andronikos, Chad. Andronikos. We've got Andronikos, Chad, and he's... Chad, what do we do? Chad, I don't think we can describe what he's doing using these guidelines.
If we could just give our viewers a bit of an insight, he's...
No, I've got the... It's making love, Chad. We've got to use the phrase making love.
Making love? Okay, well, let's just say he's not just mounting his horse. Let's just say that and move on to lane 3.
Lane 3
which is
Theophilos. It's Theophilos, Chad.
He is a god lover, and he is he's good. He's okay. He's not bad. He is also on a horse.
Interesting fact about Theophilos, Chad. Do you want to hear an interesting fact about Theophilos?
Not so excitable. Yeah.
Says here he was born. So Leo 5 is next. Leo 5 he's on a horse as well. Chad.
Oh, we can say something. Look,
on
his horse there's
What's happening? Tell me.
Calm down. Calm down.
Chad.
Yes,
what's happening, Chad?
He's got a crucifix in his hand.
And that crucifix is a symbol of a religion, I believe, Chad.
I believe Hinduism. That's right.
Could be correct. This is hard, Chad.
Oh
my God! They're going. No, they are racing. They are. Hang on a second. Let me get the word sauntering. Sauntering, Chad. They are sauntering towards the hairpin.
They're moving very fast indeed. They are at the moment neck and
Basil II is looking chuffed, Chad. He is looking chuffed according to this document here.
Basil II, yeah, he's looking like an absolute unit. What the hell's that?
And they continue racing, Chad. This is absolutely spiffing. I'm very excited.
I haven't been this excited since I ate a bowl of jelly and ice cream.
And bubble and squeak, Chad. Bubble and all squeak.
And a toad in a hole. Why would you eat a toad?
I don't know, Chad. I've got no idea. Oh, Theophilos is dead, Chad. Theophilos, he stumbled off, and he's dead straight away.
He has indeed snuffed it.
He has totally snuffed it. Chad, that's what he's done. His blood's all over the floor, Chad. That was a horrific accident. I wish I could describe it to you, listeners, but unfortunately it is definitely against the guidelines to explain exactly how that head got decapitated.
And then flung into the audience. We just cannot give you that detail. I apologize to you, our listening audience here at the BBC of C.
And Basil II is still in the lead with Leo 5 coming up behind, and Andronikos he's not doing very well, Andronikos. He is far too busy fornicating. Is fornicating allowed, Chad?
I don't, it's not on the list.
It's not on the ban list, though. We can't say
or shove it. We can't say that anymore.
I didn't say any of those, so I think fornicated is scientific, isn't it, Chad? That's allowed?
I
Anyway,
so.
He's too busy fornicating with his wife to be racing, so I'm not sure if he's going to be taking part. I think this is all down to Basil II and Leo 5 now.
Leo the Fifth is brandishing his massive crucifix in the air, and he seems to have God on his side. Even though that is not the only religion, we have give equal value to all religions here at the BCBCFC.
Yes, of course. It's... Oh my God, it's lightning! He's been struck by lightning!
Nope, that's not
What
right.
actually happened, Chad? We're not making up this time, but what do we do?
There was an unfortunate weather experience.
Unfortunate weather experience is going on right now, Chad. Unfortunate, it's terrible. He's looking, and I quote the guidelines, rather miffed, Chad.
He does not look like he is enjoying this experience at all.
No, Basil II is... sorry, I keep getting this wrong. Basil II is... Oh, he's now firmly in the lead. Leo 5 has fallen back. Andronikos, even though the fornication is carrying on, has managed to overtake Leo 5. He and his darling wife look very happy. They look very pleased, Chad.
For some reason, the horse seems to be quite spurred on by Andronikos's thrustings.
I don't think thrusting's allowed, Chad. That sounds...
loving encouragement.
Yes, yeah. I think that's the best way to say this. So we have Basil II in the lead, and Leo 5 is looking very worn out.
Leo the Fifth is looking very worn out. In fact, he is... Oh my goodness! There appears to be a streaker. A streaker?
Streaker?
Somebody is climbing. Well, it seems to be like a mini army. They're all wearing black, and they're entering the hippodrome. They've climbed over the barriers, not the
They've all got
barricades.
Christmas hats on, Chad. What's going on?
Well, you can hear them, because you can hear their twinkly bells as well. But they are brandishing
What's that they're singing,
swords.
Chad? That sounds like that song from Home Alone.
The Carol of the Bells.
Are all those words allowed?
That's a song. I
Are we
don't
allowed
know.
to mention music on the CBC?
I don't know what's a bell.
I don't know. Okay, well...
Oh, it's like a cowbell! I know, it's like a
Oh my God, I
cowbell!
love cows, Chad. Do you remember that time I had that cow? The man in Christmas hats and all the black clothes, very rich in Leo 2. Leo 5. Leo 5 is brandishing his cross. He is fighting them, Chad. This is getting really exciting now.
But now, because of the CCB guidelines, we cannot continue what is happening, but we will say that Leo the Fifth is out of the race.
Out of the race.
Because
we don't need to
he has
dwell
lots
on
of holes
why
in
that is violent.
Oh, just a lot of holes, a lot of blood.
Lot of holes. Lot of blood. Chad, I really want to tell the viewers what I'm saying, because this is outrageous.
It's not outrageous. It is just a commentary of what is happening.
Did you see what Leo 5 just did with that cross?
It was outstanding.
Could we not just give a little hint?
He fought off 18 attackers.
It's really amazing, viewers. It's really amazing.
Oh my God, it was incredible. He just lifted his crucifix out. He fought 18 away. But as he lifted up for one last swing, he got his right hand cut off. He fell to the ground. He got run through like a stuck pig.
Don't you go telling anyone we told you that, dear listeners. You keep that between us.
Oh, yeah, just our little secret, okay?
Anyway, Basil II is down firmly in the lead, but Andronikos is catching up, and this is gonna go down to the wire.
I think so, and it would be appropriate to say that everyone here would expect Basil II to win, because obviously he should win.
So it really looks like Basil II is going to definitely win, but something is happening on the track right now that is just undescribable. But I've given my best shot, but I'm flicking through all the guidelines here. I'm at a loss on to say. I've got baked beans on toast here. What's that about?
Why'd you have beans on toast?
I've got no
That's
idea.
disgusting.
Electric kettles? What? Oh my God. Universal healthcare? This is insane.
What?
Anyway, I give up, Chad. All you need to know as a listener is that Andronikos has surprisingly managed to beat Basil II. The race is over.
He crossed the finish line in a very X-rated way. He's got to the end, and it looks like he's now enjoying a snack.
Yes.
What is that snack called? It's like a cake, a pudding with raisins in it. What
it's
is it?
something, Chad. I know what I call it, but what? Oh, yeah, here. Page 72, subsection 3, Chad. That's what it is.
What?
He's waving. He's waving it, Chad.
He's waving it around. Why is he waving his pudding around? He's pulled out a spotted dick.
Apparently we're allowed to say that, Chad.
Spotted dick.
Spotted dick?
He's pulled out a spotted dick.
God,
He's swinging
Chad.
it around.
He's pulled out a spotted dick, Chad. Oh my God, the crowd go wild, Chad. This is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
And his wife is definitely enjoying chowing down on that.
Oh my God, Chad. Well, the BBC, I hope you enjoyed our much more professional commentary of the race. Please don't fire us. We're trying our best.
And we want to thank the BBC and the King, the King of England.
Even if you do fire us, don't make us sit for another PowerPoint like that. That was tough.
That was painful, man. That was so painful. Anyway, we're gonna sign off now, and we're gonna head and get a cup of tea and some rich tea biscuits. Why would you put biscuits in tea? You put them in a stew. What's going on here?
Toodle pip, Chad. Toodle and pip.
Tally ho.
Chad, I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit.
That sucked balls. That was disgusting. I hated that.
Oh my God, Chad, should we go back to the CNN?
I think we're gonna have to. Either that or Fox.
Oh my God, Chad, anything's better than this. I don't like it anymore.